What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, in the last video on Mana, we were talking about this massive growth in which we were seeing. People were 3xing, 4xing their money overnight, and I basically said, is it too late to be buying, and what can I expect? What do we need to be on the lookout for from the price over the next few days? Well, in that video, I talked about the fact that we were starting to see volume slowing down. Not only were we seeing volume slowing down, we were starting to see some of our indicators flash a possible bearish cross, and of course, that is exactly what we did see. So in the video, I said if we're able to clear above and hold above $4, getting in wouldn't be a terrible idea, as that was going to be the massive threshold that we needed to. But if we did start to see a bit of a rollover, expect a retracement back to our key support zone, and from there we can look to hopefully, of course, establish some support and work our way back up. Now, through our descent and through that retracement that we predicted on the channel, we can see the formation of this downward sloping trend line. Now, of course, that did create this resistance, and on the bottom side, we found some support, creating a downward wedge. Now, when we see these wedges, typically speaking, they are going to break to the top side, right? It's very difficult for us to get so much momentum unless there's massive news for us to break out through the downside. That just typically doesn't happen, okay? And so what we can see is that we just went through this wedge all the way down to our key support level, starting right at about $2.30 as found by our Fibonacci's. And from there, we did look to establish support, use that support to break out through the top side. So a very fundamental climb and a very fundamental descent. That's something I talk about a lot. Whenever we see cryptos really take off, when we see them really gain a lot of momentum, something that's incredibly important is that when they fall or when we start to see it slow down, that it's healthy. We don't want to see this massive climb into a massive fall, as that's going to cause a lot of bad momentum. It's very hard to recover from those because it just leaves a bad taste in many retail investors' mouths. And so with the fact that we have seen a bit of a cool down in the price for sure, but a very healthy cool down and a pullback to some key levels, tells me that we definitely can be looking at a continuation into the future. So with that being said, let's kind of talk a little bit about what it's going to take for us to see more growth and what I'm looking for to confirm that. So of course, as we did say, we did see this downward sloping trend line. We had that as our resistance. That is the main focus. Well, what we see is that we broke out through this trend line and we are looking to actually clear one of our most important resistance levels above that trend line. Now, the reason I say this is one of our most important resistance levels above the trend line is going to be, of course, due to the Fibonacci's. So we're going to go ahead and draw Fibonacci from our all-time high down to the low that was put in right on November 5th, 2021. What you can see is that when we do that, it creates the 236 at $2.97, which is no surprise that it's so close to a key level like $3. This is a very strong psychological level. And so what we can see is that now that we've broken out of this resistance, now we are facing our Fibonacci resistance. We break the trend, we go to the Fibonacci's. That's a very common occurrence within crypto. So what are we looking for right now? Well, what we're looking for right now is the beginning of our ascent through our Fibonacci levels. Now that we've cleared this resistance again, it is going to be difficult if we don't backtest this as support for us to start to work through these key levels of resistance. Possible, but difficult. So what we're looking for right now is the breaking of $2.97 and a 4-hour close above it, with our next candle being green. That is the most important thing to be looking for right now. Can we get this 4-hour close above our 236 at $2.97? Can we hold that level and then look to begin our climb? If we begin our climb, we can start to expect, us to retest the 382, which is a 15% gain, or the 0.5, which is a 27% gain. But it starts off with us getting through the first one. Once we get through the first one, we can start to expect the second, the third, and the fourth to come. Now, we can look at our MACD right now on the 4-hour charts, and it does support that move. As you can see, we just had a massive bullish cross happen. We saw all this red. We saw all of these red candles, and it wasn't looking too good for a little while. But we did see a price find some support. We started to see these upward sloping red candles, and from there, we saw the bullish blue-orange cross, which did lead us to see this big breakout to the upside. So with that being said, now that we have seen that bullish cross, I'm expecting that in the, on the daily charts, in the more mid to long term, more bullish momentum. I have no reason to believe that this thing isn't going to continue upwards because our indicators right now give it that, right? News is too good. Things are looking too good in terms of the overall gaming and metaverse for this thing to just crash for the, the rest of the year. But we need to be looking for when that happens, because it may not be at this exact moment. We could see a rollover, right? Now that we've broken through this trend line, we may come back and back test this as support before looking to see that climb. Realistically, the rest of the market is pretty red red today. So it wouldn't surprise me that much to see that this thing does start to work back in with the market. But it's all going to come down, in my opinion, to $2.97 and our interaction at that level. Because if we do look at the 1 hour charts, for example, and we pull up our MACD again, you can see that we just had a bear cross. What that usually implies is bearish momentum in the short term may be ahead of us, meaning that there is a strong chance that we start to look a little bit bearish, that we start to see the price rolling here, coming back to backtest this level of resistance, sitting right currently around, $2.50. So be on the lookout right now. This is the price rollover. If it rolls over, do expect that we come back down towards $2.60 to $2.50. But if we get that big push, if we get this bullish momentum that gets us through $2.97 and we get that 4 hour close, remember, and then we get one more 4 hour open above that level, do anticipate us to start working our way back towards $3.30, $3.45 and start making that ascent through our Fibonacci's. So that's the only way I would be playing this right now. If you're looking to buy something of this nature after a climb like this, just buying in at random times is only going to hurt you. You're going to be emotionally distressed. You're not going to know if it was a good time to buy, and if it falls a little bit, you're probably going to freak out. So the best thing to do in these moments, in my, of course, non-financial advisor opinion, is just to play it out and wait for those bullish confirmations. And a bullish confirmation in this instance is the clearing of our 236 Fibonacci, which is represented by a price of course, $2.97. So that's kind of the game plan for me right now. That's what's going to tell me where this thing goes. Again, I do believe if we break $2.97, or more specifically $3, that we will start to look for those 10 to 15, 20% gains back from $3.30 to $3.66. Now, I also do believe the fact that we are seeing the increase of volume says that there is a strong likelihood that once we break these key resistance levels, that those retail investors are going to come flooding back in as they did when we broke our wedge here. And so definitely do be on the lookout for another few big moves, especially if we clear resistance. I'm not saying it will be now. I'm not saying it will be tomorrow. Again, I do think there is a chance of us rolling back to retest this support. But when we break the resistance, when we break the trend again, I do believe that we're going to see a lot of gains here. So with that being said, of course, do be on the lookout for this. That is the only way that I would personally be buying this thing right now. And of course, if you guys did get any value or entertainment from this video, you can let me know by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. I will actually not be home until tomorrow evening. So this is going to be the last video of the weekend, but definitely do stay tuned, as tomorrow I have a few videos coming out to update you guys on all of our big ones on the channel, our ADAs, Solanas, and all of that good stuff. So of course, I hope you guys did enjoy. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you next time. Peace.